Right. Hello, Abdul. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for joining the Philotical Podcast. And before we move on, I'd like for you to introduce yourself.
My name is Abdul Zohrab and I'm from Luvu, Lautoka. I was born and brought up in Lautoka, and I can say I'm a Fijian, and I'm a founder of One Nation Our People Youth Club. Basically, that's all I can say for now.
Yeah, so you're from the Burning West.
Yes, currently it's
Okay.
cold.
Yeah. Well, not for long though. uh, so can you walk us through uh, perhaps a moment in your early life that changed your perspective on, let's say, poverty and inequality?
I was brought up in we can say a middle class family. So I was basically brought up by my grandmother. I stayed with my grandmother for a long time, and I have seen the struggles. We eat kanji. It's like watery half cooked rice or cooked with water, and we put some salt in it and some chutney. So sometimes we had to eat that to survive, and we seen the struggles together. And from there, I have seen basically the turning point was when, for my time, I was paying school fees, term fees, book fees. So we used to pay term 1, term 2, term 3. And there was a time where we were told that we are four siblings altogether. So we were told that only two of us can study and the two of us can work and start earning. So by then in 2013, there was free education implemented, and I was really grateful for that. Because of that free education, we managed, all of our four siblings, we managed to study, and I'm a year 13 graduate, and all of my siblings also have passed out and graduated as well from high school.
So you often credit your grandmother, I believe her name is Sabra Khatun, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you credit a lot of your work, a lot of your inspiration towards her. Why do you think her values really translated with you? Why did it stick with you? It could have been your parents, it could have been your siblings. Why your grandmother?
Basically, credit goes to my parents as well, my mom, my dad as well. But then why I give more credit to my grandmother was basically I have stayed with her for long, and I was a pet. And funny thing about her, we I used to call her Mother Teresa. So it's not comparing her with Mother Teresa, but the way she was looking after everybody. And there was a scenario, we didn't had anything to eat, and there's someone came in asking for assistance, and my grandmother just went to the kitchen and packed some things and gave it to her.
Even though she
And
herself was struggling at the time.
yeah, so I would get angry on her sometimes. Another example was like, we have a three-bedroom house, and one of the bedrooms me and my grandmother was sharing at that time. And what happened? There was a homeless person. I mean, so suddenly got evicted, and they didn't had a place to stay. And they came to my grandmother. It was the friend or something like that. And my grandmother just gave my room to the family of two or three. And me and my grandmother used to sleep on the floor in the sitting room, lay the mattress there, and spend we sleep there. And the room was given to someone else. And that time for me as a young person growing up, and it was like, hey, why she's doing this? Why? Then she used to say, the more you give, the more you will get in return. If I have to talk about my grandmother, it will go a long way. She was the one who first bought me a phone as well. If you have seen through me, because apart from all these other activities, I also do spiritual religious activities as well, and that credit also goes to her. That she was the one when I was in class 6. We have a boarding school, madrasa. She was the one who encouraged me to join. I was in the mosque for 4.5 years. I studied the spiritual side of religious side of our culture, and without her encouragement and support, I wouldn't have learned so much about our religion. And as you know, that Gen Z, the youths are evolving, and the world is growing at a faster rate, and we can see cultures are fading.
Yeah.
And she was the root for me, my root, as I can say, that she was the one who helped me recognize my culture, and still I'm walking on that path. So another credit goes to my grandfather as well. I call him Nana. When I was small, I used to sit on her shoulders, and he used to walk me to the mosque every Eid, Juma. He used to walk me to the mosque. So he was the man that showed me that there is a mosque, and this is this. So both my grandparents played a vital role. Then later my mother, my father also, they are my worries. My currently my mother,
Yes.
who's still supporting me, there for me in my toughest days. Sometimes when I face a lot of issues, difficulties, criticisms, and stuffs, and she's there. So I can always go to her, cry out, talk to her, and I feel much better.
Would you say it's fair to draw the assessment that it was your grandmother's generosity, her kindness, her compassion that sort of eventually led you to founding One Nation, Our People Youth Foundation and the work that it does? Would you say her values have been paramount
Indeed,
to it?
indeed. And basically, this part of my life, it's very not that public. It's available, but this part of my life in 2020, when my father passed away, it was June. My father passed away on 23rd of June 2020. 3 days later, my grandmother passed away in the same week. And that's the first week I started working. First employment, as an official employment, I started at Jax of Fiji. I have also shared this testimony with my previous counterparts, and it's available on YouTube as well. Uh, in this part of that section, when part of my chapter 2020 played a darkest event in my life. So when my father passed away, later 3 days later, my grandmother passed away. After that, I got into depression. I committed several suicides, not just once, twice, thrice, several. I used to take pills, tablets, whatever in front of me, go to the hospital 2 3 days, back home, try again. And at a time that came that I took a lot. I took all, and I remember I was in coma for 3 weeks in Lotoka Hospital. I came out from there. I was in stress ward. Before that major suicide I did, the last attempt, volunteered myself at Stresswood. I went, I admitted myself, then I was like staying there for 1 week or so. So later, after 2 3 days, when I was there in Stresswood, I learned a lot. I first started cooking there, but I couldn't recover myself. Then on my last attempt, I spent 3 weeks or 4 weeks in Stresswood after recovering from the coma. I was in men's medical for 3 weeks in coma. Later, then I was shifted to Stresswood level flow. Then I stayed there for a couple of days, a couple of weeks. There, I would give credit to my counselors, Empower Pacific, Antiva, and few others that came by. Doctor, it would be bad if I didn't acknowledge or appreciate or thank my doctor, Dr. Maria. Currently, she's not in Lotoka at the moment. She also played a vital role in my recovery. After several counselings, I recovered myself. Then I was later discovered that diagnosed that I had bipolar, and it's a stigma that bipolar is just a name. It's about all mind games. So that a man cannot have a bipolar. So I didn't share much with anyone. Then I started researching about it. Then I started to think what triggers me. After a couple of days, it went, and it was a COVID time. During that period, people used to come to me, share the issues, because I was vocal then as well, not just now. So there were issues around the communities, etc. I used to listen to them and reach out to the authorities, higher authorities, the ministers, etc., etc., so that the issues are rectified and solved, and plenty were done. So people was expecting something. I mean, believed in me. In COVID, people were jobless. They had nothing to eat and etc. So there were few requests, and people were coming to my grandmother as well, as people knew that she was helping me. But later they knew that she's no longer there, and I was at home and my mom was there. People used to come and share the stories. They have no groceries, this and that, etc. So I tried to approaching few NGOs that can assist. There was an NGO I approached. They approached me. Then I shared this. Then they needed the list how many people in Luvu seaside are suffering with grocery issues and other issues. What I thought was, I called random people from each streets. They gave me names, and you won't believe the name was more than hundreds. So I was thinking myself that if I give these numbers to the NGO that has approached me,
And this was during the
by
COVID period.
yeah, and if they see the number, they will basically not assist us because the number is so much. So what came to my mind, that why don't I myself go and have a walk through around the community and see the genuine cases, so that the genuine ones are assisted, the vulnerables are assisted first. Then there came a moment where I saw a lady. She was bedridden, and guess what she was eating? A Malaya fish from the drains. She didn't had a husband or kids. She never got married. So the neighbors or any passed by the kids used to go catch Malayas from the drain and bring it to her, feed her. And that scenario was like an arrow to your heart, because I have seen that struggle. When we have nothing to eat, how does it feel? And secondly, that lady is bedridden. So It was nearly 5, so I had to rush back home because the curfew was there. That whole night I couldn't sleep. I was thinking, what can be done? What can be done? And luckily, I received my 220 FNPF unemployment benefit. Then I shared my story with my cousin, my neighbor. She gave her $50 with my unemployment benefit, and that $50 we did a shopping. We gave it to her. We were the first person to assist her in her lifetime.
Why do
So
you
what
think that
happened?
is? Why do you think the government hasn't reached out and helped her, or did she not have any facilities? What do you think it is that she never got any assistance before?
Basically, she was bedridden and she was ignored. Nobody reached out. She never reached out to anyone. Nobody reached out to her. And all others, like we can say, neighbors were also ignoring. And the knowledge and awareness was also not there of the programs that were going on. So after that first assistance, I thought that I should take pictures and post it out. Then I took some pictures. I asked her permission, and she accepted me as her son. She said that he doesn't have a husband, no kids. You are my son. So as soon as we uploaded the pictures, I shared with one of my college friends. That time he was residing in US, and through chats, these are the situations here in Fiji, and I've encountered a family like this. And he never asked any explanation or anything further details. He just agreed to send $300 Fijian. So that was the seed that he put. And that with $300, we did shopping with a pack of six. So with that, we went not roaming around, but we went visited the community, identified the genuine ones, then we distributed them. Then we further took pictures, then we uploaded again. And looking at the first lady story, plenty people started to come forward. And
And
in
how do you identify the genuine ones? What's the criteria for that?
that time we were new to this, to application process and stuff, but the thing was medical conditions at the place, how residence, source of income, welfare benefits, other source of income, any family support, and other ways they can earn. And that during that time we also gave out seedlings for backyard farming, backyard gardening, and we assisted many families with seeds, and they benefited from it. So once that help started to come for that first lady was, I guess, if I'm correct, it's in a month she received 4 to 5 grocery packs. And the fifth grocery pack, when I went to give her, she was like, Abdul, I don't need it. There's so many groceries here applying, and it will cover me for a month or so. Then I told her that we posted your photo and your picture, your story, so people have helped you. We cannot use that funds for any other purposes. And you know what really won my heart that day? She said, give it to others who are in need. I have plenty at the moment. That's where One Nation's journey began. Then we assisted several, then group of our colleagues, a lot
And
of
this
us
was
from
in
college.
2020, if I'm correct.
Yeah, yeah. So we were all in touch with our college friends. So I shared with them, and I remember Rifat, Zunaid were the first two friends of mine, college friends, supported me. Later, we shared with all our college friends. They said, okay, why not? They all joined hands. And you know, right? Like after college, Even though we make very good promises, we won't leave each other, we'll be in contact and stuff. After 2017, we started to get apart from friends, and tertiary education came in, work life, and this was one of the point where we got back as friends once again. We connected all the friends, we shared. Then through a Zoom meeting, with you connected through Zoom. First meeting was done through Zoom. Our former teachers played a vital role as well. Mrs. Ali, she was my accounting teacher, my counselor as well. Our form teacher, my form teacher as well. She was part of the journey when we began. Mr. Fayaz Ali, and there's others as well. And I can keep on naming them, but these were the few important ones. I believe I have to acknowledge them as well. So after that, through that Zoom meeting, we discussed, talked, story, Talanwa. Then we came up with a name, One Nation, Our People. So basically, we named One Nation, Our People Youth Foundation. We wanted to start a foundation where youths were all involved in all kind of activities. We wanted to tackle all the issues, youth related issues. Our mission was to break the vicious cycle of poverty, and our vision was youth serving the needy. Involve youths. The thing is, when you have a golden spoon or you sit in the own comfort zone, you don't know what's going around. So when the youths like me, my friends and others who goes out on fields, communities, see what's going around, their perspective also changes. Like an example, I won't name a friend of mine who used to oppose me, not oppose me, but stop me. Why are you doing this? It's waste of time. You're becoming this and that. One day, I took him with me in assisting one of the family, a 70-year-old granny. When we handed over the grocery with a cash of $100 with, she held our hand, me and my friend's hand, and started blessing us. Kept praying. Took us the maximum 10 to 20 to 15 minutes. She kept praying, kept blessing, 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 and my friend was literally crying. And after when we got back in our car, said, "Now I got you, Abdul. Why are you doing this?" So that was one of the changes. So just imagine if we put all the youths, and if they start to come across same kind of situations and they visit their own communities and they go through around situations like this, Fiji would be a better place when all hands comes together. And that's where my slogan comes in, making a better Fiji for a younger Fiji. I believe that youths like me and other future generations holds the power to create change. And through this small group of us, we're not, I always mention and I always tell people, we can't make everyone happy. There are families that have approached us, still, we haven't had the opportunity to reach out to them because we are not a funded group, firstly. We're just a group of youths who are trying to make a difference. So then we later onwards we registered under Ministry of Youth and Sports. We had plenties of trainings, workshops, leadership trainings, and it went, kept going on, mangrove planting and other initiatives, cleanup campaigns. It started all. So in 2021, we registered under Ministry of Youth and Sports. I remember it was 15th May 2021 where we registered in the Ministry of Youth and Sports.
So it's
Kept
technically not a non-government organization.
Yes, it's not a not non-gov. It's basically registered in the Ministry of Youth and Sports. And but now it's since we have entered our fifth year, and now we are planning to get into uh, a non-government organization since our work have been started to being recognized. by people abroad and locals as well. And I have seen opportunities there, more grants available, more projects available with the non-government organizations compared to the youth groups. So currently we are in a pipeline where we are preparing our constitutions, our registering of members, and all other legal procedures in terms of registering into a non-government organization. But we haven't deregistered yet from Ministry of Youth and Sports. Unless we register as an NGO, then we will deregister so that we don't have a conflict of interest. So as I was saying, when we registered in the Ministry of Youth and Sports, we kept assisting, we kept going on, we kept working together. We came across hurdles, tough times when we didn't have donors. We faced criticisms. I guess when you posted about our podcast, there was a comment on your post as well. Someone was waiting for basically 5 months. It's basically, as I said, we cannot make everyone happy. We're not a funded group, and as we try to assist everybody, we have an application form, a Google form, where it was uploaded in my FB page as well. And whenever someone asks, I have a team of group members, the admins, who follow the procedures. First procedure is through that Google form, and some of them, if they can't fill out the Google form, we assist them in filling out so that it's our records are kept safely and accurately. Then after that procedure, we have members calling and verifying the details. Sometimes if we find something is fishy or not genuine and stuff like that, me and my members, we used to go do field assist as well, field assessment. And through, when we talk about field assessment, me and my members, few of my members have completed a psychological first aid training, also with Empower Pacific, where where we learned how we provide ourselves in times of need and natural disasters. So we use our lessons we learned in our workshops. It's we call it triple L: look, listen, and link. As a psychological first aid officer, we don't promise anything on the field, on off the field. We look, we listen to them, we link it to the relevant authorities. 5,000 families assisted, it's a huge number for us as a youth group, small youth group, non-funded youth group. But when you dig deep into that 5,000 number, it's not that we distributed 5,000 grocery packs. Some of them are wheelchairs, medication assistance, grocery assistance, plenty are counseling, plenty are seedlings, farming assistance, and there are plenty cases we assisted. We referred the case to Ministry of Social Welfare, Child Care Support, and other relevant authorities. They can look after that cases.
Any
So
mental health cases?
there plenty mental health cases. We also organized and operated several mental health webinar series where we trained, and after this webinar series, we also trained youths on child protection, Sharia training, sexual exploitation, abuse and harassment training, human rights.
You mentioned earlier about your mental health issues and how you overcame it, and thank you for being vulnerable and open about it. And I believe a lot of youths are hesitant um, to come out and speak about their issues, about their mental health issues, because there's a negative connotation to it. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people have this view about mental health issues?
Basically, it's all goes back to our roots, culture, you can say, the mentality as well, the stigma. what you can say is, if you are a boy, if you are a man, you cannot cry. Similar, if you are a girl, you cannot go out at these certain hours. You cannot go here. You cannot go there. This all there are similar things happening. And when you are not fond or not openly able to speak with your parents, families, friends, basically families, because first lesson starts from home. So when you can't talk about these relationship issues and other difficulties, if you fail in your exam, example, if you fail in your exam and you go home, you have a fear that if you tell I failed, and it will be like उसके लड़का एक देखो 95 मारिस, उसके लड़का पास करिस, it the comparing. So that's the fear. They won't tell, and with that, when they tell, either they're scolded, they're grounded. Even in our times, we were smacked as well with the ruler and the imlik chapki. All other things are there. Nowadays, they are privileged. They cannot get.
Recognizing it as a cultural issue, how do you think
Yes.
that can be changed? How do you think that can be molded? Because it's quite tough to change a culture.
Basically, talking about that, I would say it's a very sensitive topic when we talk about this. It's our cultural leaders play an important and vital role in this. Like if we, example, if I say something like going out after 9 is wrong, they won't believe me. But if a cultural leader speaks on it, one of our preachings, anything like that, that these certain hours you cannot go out of the house, it will be taken as a yes. So if mental health issues like this, the stigma, the taboo, I believe if the cultural leaders starts to speak, it would play a very important role in improving it. And I remember currently it's at the moment it's behind my head, but I cannot get through it. But I believe one of the programs I attended, there was a person, a renowned person. The program was a religious one, and youths were involved, and elders were also there, pioneers. And this person, he's not a priest, but he's a renowned person. He was invited as a chief guest in that program. And then in his speech, he mentioned not addressing the youths, but addressing the elders. He told them that you should listen to your kids as well. Not every time they are wrong. So this message really inspired me. Like there are people also who are trying to listen to youths. So if this stigma, this mindset changes, and if our elders gives us opportunities to speak as well and be ourselves, and mental health suicide case would decrease. I can guarantee that. Majority of the cases is like inner fear. I also had inner fears in me. I used to fail exams. I don't want to come and tell home. Relationship issues. When I fight, I'm upset. I cannot speak to anyone at home because that time having girlfriend, boyfriend, it was like a big thing, big issue for them. But lucky for me, I was brought up with my mom, my dad, my grandparents as well. They were very open-minded, and even if I was upset, they would to come to me and take it. What's the issue? What happened? Did you fail? कोई लड़की तुम्हें डांट दी, लड़की ने बात करे like this and that. So that's what I really appreciate. And being them open-minded made me who am I today, so that I can express myself as well. That's where I would say that cultural leaders, the family, the mentorship we have, that plays a vital role in our mental health. Imagine if I couldn't share anything with my family, I was in a depression and stuff like that. Later onwards, I wouldn't have been here where am I today. I would have been suffocating inside. Even it's not that I'm not having issues. I'm not uh, coming to this point. I always share with my friends, my close ones. They also tell me, "Hey, your life is easy, this and that." Then I used to say, "Come in my shoes. Just be Abdul for a day, and you know." So it's not that easy as well. Coming up, speaking, and the criticism, the discrimination, racial discrimination. Talking about that, that's I think that's the prize, I would say, for speaking out. That's the prize. The sacrifices, it's a lot. I sometimes have sleepless nights, tiring hours, tiring days, walking, going through, negotiating, talking to donors, convincing them, accountability, transparency. It's not that easy. And even though we are a group of people, we work together. I have my secretary, not my secretary, but our organization secretary, Mr. John. We have our president, Rifat. We have our treasurer, Ravnil. And Muhammad Tawshid is the vice president. So we are a group of team. Assistant secretary is Shifran Shahid. So we are a group of team. So when it comes to transparency reporting time, we all come together discussing, talking, preparations, assessments. So it's not easy. People assume, I guess, right? When we post about pitches, they have a where they first criticism is like when we do charity and post it up. First comments comes in is why you posting up, why you showing up. This you can do charity from one hand, the other hand shouldn't know. I agree to that. And there are so many things we have done with the others doesn't know. But when it comes to my postings and stuffs like that, it's like when I post something, it's firstly transparency because the donor, even though I send them separately, that sir, madam, brother, your funds are utilized here. I do share with them personally. But the thing is, people need to be aware as well that there's a person that has been assisted. And by looking at that post, few others can join in. That's how we started, and then now it's growing. Friends, families, people from basically the Facebook followers, the friends, Facebook friends, they message us appreciating our work, and they say one day they want to contribute. Sometimes they directly send. Sometimes few of them have promised and have worked with us. Now currently every month they are sending. So basically my post doesn't just it's for show off. It's I would say it's for transparency. Secondly, it's to inspire others to join hands. It's not that it's not that just that help us through our organization. What if someone sees a post and goes directly to assist that family or any other person in the community? Like it's we are inspiring others to join, to help others, help the community. That's how working together, hands in hands, we are working towards a better future for better Fiji. If we keep ignoring that facts, Fiji wouldn't have been a paradise. That's the beauty of Fiji. If our neighbors doesn't have anything, other neighbors step in. So we cannot say everybody is nice, everybody is bad. It's how we walk and how we see. You can say the glass is half empty. We can say the glass is half full. That's the thing. So how people see it. So firstly was transparency. Secondly, inspiring. And third was empowerment. Plenty youth members. Recently, I have seen the One Nation has grown into a registered member of 35. And first time in the history, we have 15 members that have messaged us, that have joined us, is from Suva. So basically, we are growing. And I believe Rome wasn't built in a day. It took time. It took us 5 years to reach here. And now, basically, I would like to also thank our affiliated partners, International Peace Youth Group from South Korea, where I have volunteered. Our group have worked with them. We have done several projects recently in Fiji. We have working on peace blogging, cleanup campaigns, peace education, and other activities in future. So it took us 5 years to be getting recognized in the international level. So it's not that it's easy. You do charity, you do it from your pocket, or sometimes people demand as well. But that's the fact. We cannot make everyone happy. We cannot fulfill everyone's dream. We have our strategy. We work accordingly. And since we are in this, we have to have a thick skin and accept the criticism we face daily.
Yeah. Yeah. Why do you think there is so much criticism? And you mentioned that it's a price that you have to pay when you are doing something good, when you are taking action. Why does this backlash? Why does it? What do you think is the reason behind it? You also mentioned that there were some times that donors would pull out last minute.
Basically, basically, I would suggest people are mixing politics in it. You must have seen I'm vocal on social media as well, holding accountable. It's not that it's a social media commentary, I would say, but it's for me, it's holding the people in authority accountable for it.
Would you
So,
separate the work that you do and your political views? Would you count that as separate?
yes, One Nation, Our People is separate from my personal views, my personal actions, what I do. And coming into terms, since we were registered in the Ministry of Youth and Sports, we worked with ministries. So 2021, 2022, we were there. And even though previously we have worked with them. And I wouldn't say that I'm much closer to the previous government, previous administration. I just admired the changes, the progress they did for Fiji. And talking about that, and coming to our first conversation when we started our podcast, where I mentioned the free education and my four sibling of us. So this is a changing point for me. When I talk about it, imagine if there was no free education. Either I would have to work in a cane field, a garage, or any other places just to survive and put food on the table, and other two siblings would have studied. I have studied, and other two siblings would have been working. So basically, that's where they won not my heart only, but plenty. So, secondly, that's one of the reasons free education has attracted me towards the previous leaders. And not just free education. When you talk about progress, it's about infrastructure as well. It's about unity. It's about literacy level. It's about the progress, the economic growth. So all this comes into place. And I have seen it with my. I cannot change everybody's perspective, or I cannot pull them to think like me. It's what I think. And I have seen the progress. And coming into 2023, when 2022 election happened, the tides changed. I don't say the coalition won. I wouldn't accept that because we never chose the three government. We voted for our government, and those three joined hands to be in the government. So I wouldn't say they won. At the end of the day, even they won by one vote on the house, in the parliament house. So yes, we had to accept. We had to move on. We moved on. The change happened. The people wanted. The people voted for the change, and change happened. And that's fact of the life. Nothing is permanent, and we have to move forward. But the thing is, while moving forward, we cannot forego or ignore the progress that made by the previous leaders. I believe the credit should go where it deserves. It's not that when you go cut a ribbon, smile for the camera, that's your project. The person who started that mission should be acknowledged. So there were several initiatives that were started by the previous government, was concluded by the current coalition, but the credit wasn't given. That's part one of it. Moving forward, the promises they made. You must have seen my posts on social media. The manifestos. Firstly, they promised a $5 minimum wage rate in first 100 days, but it took them to 3 years to get to that $5. So basically, that's not fulfilling the promise, I would say. If you are promising something that you'll do it in the first 100 days, that didn't happen, and you stand up on the mic. I have shared the evidence are there on my social media page. The current Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, Mr. Biman Prasad, in one of his campaigns, mentioned that when they get into government, they will cut down the overseas trips. They'll cut down the wages. They'll do this. They'll cut all the expenditures, the wages, etc. No luxury conference, no luxury consultations. But after election, we see 138% pay rise. I repeat, 138%. And in the recent budget, what our social welfare gets? 5%. What our civil servant gets? 3%. So that's where we need to speak on. We uploaded the government, the coalition government, when the whole house voted against the Fukushima nuclear waste dumping in few years back, I guess. 2023, Fukushima nuclear dumping, where the coalition government moved the motion, not supporting it, and the whole house supported it, that there won't be a dumping. That day, I uploaded it. I thanked them that they did a good thing. But in few weeks' time later onwards, we have a prime minister saying he has a prerogative power to make a decision, and he allowed a nuclear dumping. So where's our vote? We didn't vote for nuclear dumping. What was the consequences? What will be the consequences in future if this happens? And it has happened. The dumping has already been started, done and dusted, or maybe still underway. We don't know, but it has been approved. There's several other things they have promised. They have gone opposite the direction. They cried. They talked about national debt as a weapon against the previous government. But what have they done? The debt has raised to 11 billion, 11 point something, crossed 11 billion now in 3 years. No natural disaster, no COVID pandemic, nothing, but the debt level has increased. And on top of that, 15% VAT, which now has been reduced to 12.5%. But firstly, they were the ones who brought it up to 15%. There were no celebrations for for revenue collections previously under the previous administration. Even I posted it with evidence as well during not my term. It's during the previous government. The revenue collected was something around 2.2 billion revenue was collected through tax. We never had a cake cutting ceremony, but here we have a 15% VAT, and we have a revenue of 1.9, and we have a cake cutting ceremony celebrating that revenue. At what cost? They never promised this. They promised a better Fiji. They promised for the voices of youths to be heard. But what has happened? For me, from my personal experience, I would suggest, I would say it loud and clear. I have never seen youth representatives in budget consultations. They had a conference or something, consultations or summit in earlier 2003, 23 or 24, where they spent 500,000 plus the Kalavata and stuff. It was on the news. I have never seen any youths participating there. And why the events and programs are held in Suva? And what about the voices in West? Reki Reki, Tavua, Ba, Nindi, Singatoka. Was there any accountability or transparency that people from these areas were present there? No. So this is what happens. And secondly, when we have raised several emails, we have written message, people have cried, but no response at here. They either block the member, block the person who messages them or questions them. That's the reality at the moment. So when I talk all about this, that's my personal point of view. And when I support the former leaders, many have seen them. Even I posted them several times with them. I have seen around with them. But the mentality, you'd say, I remember this is I would say, the funniest moment for me when I was attending for my AG's first court case in May 2023. After that court case, people circulated my pictures stating I'm a Bangladeshi nationalist, I'm a terrorist, I'm a Sri Lankan, this and that, whatsoever, a bodyguard and this and that. That's the funny part. What is happening in Fiji? There's no research done. People don't know me, or people didn't bother to know me, rather than just seeing a picture or seeing me around and just pointing out questions, assumptions, trolling. I proudly say I'm a Fijian. I'm born here and I support my leaders. I will still support them because I have grown up seeing them. They have inspired me a lot. The policies, the leadership, decisive leadership, they have them. There were times they made strong decisions. They could have impacted us on a short term, but long term wise, it would have benefit Fiji. And I believe they were the leaders who doesn't think till the nose. They think far apart so that Fiji is safe. Fiji is prosperous. Fiji has a long-term economic goal, long-term growth. So these were the factors, and now we don't see that kind of decisions. We have seen a political turmoil, the conflict within the coalition, within the parties, within that administrations, the appointments, suspensions, etc., etc. I can keep talking about it.
In terms of hearing out the youth, hearing out the voices of the ordinary person, how would you compare the current government to the previous government, and in what way, if you had to give an example, in what way do you think the previous government did better in terms of hearing the ordinary person? And can you give an example?
From my point of view, as I work with the grassroots level of people, I meet people daily. I speak with them a lot. Basically, they want the previous leaders back in power in terms of cost of living. The ordinary Fijians, ordinary grassroots level Fijians are speaking through it. The cost of living, the rise in crime rate, the domestic violence, etc. We have seen unwarranted evictions in these few years. So I wouldn't say Fijians are staying in fear. That would have that would create inciting statement from my side. But yeah, people are concerned. I could say people are concerned. They want the leaders they are being heard. When they call, the leaders answer. When they cry, leaders hear them. When they want the leaders are with them, leaving no one behind. Like as coming back to that, what I've said, we cannot make everyone happy. Nobody can make everyone happy. Some people might be upset with some things that they didn't go their way, the way they wanted. But it's life. We need to go ahead. We cannot be selfish. Example, a person complained with the former minister or someone in that time they never answered and this and that. Now because of this and that, this happened. So we cannot take that one issue and vote them out. We cannot do that. From me, I never take things personally. I believe in seeing a wider picture so that everybody benefits from it. And I'm a ordinary Fijian, a middle class family, earning a minimum wage. So yes, we want them back, not just to take revenge or whatsoever, but to bring back the country where it was. And the decisions, some of the decisions, and which have affected us Fijians, and wasting millions of dollars. Previous administration didn't had a bloated ministry. They were selected on merits. They didn't had a bloated ministry, but now we can see a ministry. It's I guess I can't be correct on numbers, but it's a bloated because the G11 that have joined them, the few of them have also been given a ministry portfolio. So we have separate ministries, separate ministers, separate assistant ministers. So it's basically operational cost. When we talk about operational cost, when we talk about budget, first thing we see it's capital expenditure, the operational expenditure. And when we talk about capital expenditure is the infrastructure we do, how much we invest in the people of Fiji. So the capital expenditure was more than the operational expenditure. But I cannot say that the current administration have a balanced budget, or I have to see the amounts and facts so that I can say the capital expenditure. But looking at the things, how it's going, the 138% pay rise and the bloated ministries. When we have a bloated ministry, we have ministry for everything. Then we have ministry, permanent secretary for each ministries, permanent secretary. Then we have staffs for each ministry. So obviously the capital expenditure would grow. We haven't seen any large scale of investments. And while we talk about investments, here in Fiji, we are the young entrepreneurs, the small businesses are not that privileged, but whereas Fiji Water, a foreign company, a foreign business, have been given a 7-year tax-free holiday. Just imagine, 7 years tax-free holiday. What if that 7 years was invested in the local businesses, the young entrepreneurs, the small business? They've granted them free tax-free holidays, not just for 7 years, they would say 1 or 2 years, so that they can get on their feet. The young entrepreneurs. Previously, there was Yes Scheme, Young Entrepreneur Scheme, but where is it now? Nowhere to be seen. We have seen. I have speaking with youths, even plenty of my members. They have shown interest. Plenty people have messaged me. They want to start up their own businesses, not large business, small businesses, tailoring, hydroponic, and etc. This is the people we need to invest on. This is the people we need to invest on, so that the money we earn in Fiji stays in Fiji, and the youngsters doesn't have to go. And then when we talk about cost of living, when youngsters are not given opportunities, they try to get employment, they're not employed, then happens. They start to sell drugs, easy money, and then when they start selling it, later they go deeper and that's the puddle they are in. Later they end up in prison or rehab. We don't have a rehab, but stress ward, St. Giles, and other places on streets. So every decision, every policy that has been made or are made has a ripple effect. Like cost of living, when we talk about cost of living comes with wage rate. The capacity of a person going on a Saturday afternoon shopping, how much they can feel in their trolley.
So
Yeah.
speaking on wage rate, there are certain arguments. For example, you also talked about new entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, right? New businesses. So a lot of these businesses would suffer the most when you increase the wage rate, and that's a common argument. How would you tackle that argument? How would you dispute against it?
No, I would agree. Right, even the current wage rate has increased. We have seen hours reduced. We have seen days of work reduced. But the thing is, we cannot. We need to have a stronger policy and implementations, actions taken. We
And what does
cannot
the
say like
policy look like?
we the policy makers should come down with the employees. It's not that just the employees, it's the company, the Ministry of Labor. They need to get strict actions, take strict actions, tough actions, like when we see a business making huge profits, but when it comes a time we have to pay, we cannot. Right, I agree. Everybody wants to make a profit. They're there to make a profit. So, like previously, previous government was the one who introduced minimum wage rate. Even people complained that in that time they did from here to here to, I cannot actually remember how much was it, the first minimum wage rate, but from there, even the previous administration, the $4 was brought in that stage of time in that category where the business didn't affect so much, right? Like it was implemented $3.50, then after 6 months it was $4, something like that. So what the current coalition also followed to make it 452 in the previous first year, then the second year it came to 450 to 5 years, I mean $5. So what happens? It gives the company a time to adjust. But when we talk about national minimum wage rate, with the cost, that's what I was saying. Cost of living comes when we talk about wage rate. When we talk about wage rate, that's currently $5, and forget about the 12.5%, which is implemented from today. But we had a wage rate VAT of 15%, which increased the cost of living for ordinary Fijian. So taking that into consideration, $5 is not so much for ordinary people, family of I would say three or four, and I'm not so much expect on that calculating the wages and stuffs like that. But I believe, from my point of view, when the Ministry of Labor, the policymakers, and the employees get to a mutual understanding with a stricter implementations, like if you implement $6 a minimum wage rate, I won't say $10. It's a huge. We have trade unions who fighting for the employees, but they are not heard. So stricter implementations, I may sound childish, but the policymaker should implement a huge fine, hefty fine, if after the wage increase there's a reduction of employees, or they are terminated or they are fired. And I won't say much about it because didn't. I cannot say I did a research on it, and so that's if I say something and something otherwise, and there might be other narratives to it. So I won't say much on that side because I would say that I'm not that. I don't have that caliber to talk about the wage rate side of this at the moment. I haven't did a lot of research, but yes, when we talk about cost of living, the current coalition, they are in power. They need to implement policies to address these issues, and when issues are the wage rate, and later onwards, when I talk about it, when I visit the trade union and the employees, I speak more often on to employees, and when I do my calculations and I study more about it from the previous reports and the current reports, audit reports, and etc., so that I'll have more knowledge to speak about it. Currently, I would say I don't have much to say about it.
Would you say that your political views, or your public critiques of the current administration has ever cost you opportunities professionally? Would you say that?
Mm, I would say yes, but
In what way?
I have lost my job.
And this was
I
over
can't say where.
yeah. And this was over your political views?
Yes, my political standing with the former leaders and the current critics and my social media, etc. It has cost my job at once.
Would you say that is, as you mentioned quite early on in the conversation, you have to pay a price for speaking out or for doing good? Do you think the prices that you have to pay, these shortcomings and these backlashes that come along with it, do you think that's a big reason why a lot of these youths are hesitant to speak out?
Yes, I would say that many they can't handle the trolls, the discriminations, sometimes the racial attacks, the bullies. Some are strong, some they take it head on, but there are other youths as well. They fear about their family, their friends, so that for me, I would suggest I have a good friend zone, as I always share on my social media as well. One of my greatest, my college friends. Not forgetting brother John. Mr. John Rangan. He's I would say a great friend of mine when this kind of issues occurs, and is there standing by me, empowering me. That sometimes when I feel like quitting, or there are times I feel like let's give up, just give it. Let's choose a let's do something else. As soon as I share with him, hey, I want to quit this and that, he gives me a wake up call and reminds me why I started a mission. What is our goal? So they are my friends, my families. Even before this podcast, I was at a place where someone mentioned, "Hey Abdul, I'm afraid of what you're doing." I can say a relative of mine. I get this a lot of times. People say to me, "Aren't you afraid of doing this? Aren't you afraid of speaking out?" But when I have friends like John, Ashmit, Sheikh, Shashant, Rifat, Suned, Mavinesh, my family, my parents, my mother, and my teachings and learnings from my late grandmother, late grandfather, my late father. It's what makes me stronger. And in this past several years, not few years, several years, I have learned when you do good, people will be there to bring you down, and that's what keeps me more motivated. When I see people trolling me, people bullying me, calling me names, I'm from Bangladeshi, I'm from Sri Lanka, I'm this and that, I'm a bodyguard, uh, there's a word Masipolo, and there are several things that are said to me. But when it comes to politics, we need to have a thick skin. It was my decision to speak out. I chose this line to be the voice of the people, and that's what I'm doing it today and in future as well.
Would you say
So
having representing the voice of the people? Would you say would you count in the voters that did not vote for Fiji First? Do you include that?
Uh, yes, maybe no, because from my point of view, whether you voted for the previous government or the current coalition, it's not the one I am to judge on. For me, when it comes in saving and talking and speaking for the people, it's for the people, by the people, and that's what I go for. I don't segregate that who voted, or I don't see, or I don't do that polling style things, something like stats that if whether this area voted for us, or this and that.
So to
So I
you,
would
what
say
does
that
a what
I
does a
don't believe
more
in segregating.
so to you what does a more fairer Fiji how does it look if you had to say 5 to 10 years from now? A fairer Fiji,
For
what would
me,
it be?
fair Fiji where leaders listening to the ordinary citizens, ordinary Fijians, the voices are being heard, the underprivileged are taken care, the crime rates decreasing, living in unity, harmony, peacefully and prosperity. So in 5 to 10 years time, we need a leader who thinks, who walks for the people and by the people, and leaving no one behind, and for unity. A leader who brings everybody together as one. That's what I believe, and I want to see in 5 to 10 years. That's a leader I want.
uh, let's say on this day, ONOP, all the work that you did, all the activism that you have showed online or in person, in public, let's say all of that was erased and you had 30 seconds to express what you stand for and what your message would be to the youth and to the ordinary Fijian, what would that message be?
For me, for my message to youths and to the ordinary Fijians, if I can achieve, you can achieve as well. If you fall down, rise once again. If you fall again, stand again, but don't give up.
So that would be your message. And before we conclude, is there that anything else that you would like to mention?
I would encourage youths and other ordinary citizens and all the viewers who are listening. If you are struggling, reach out. If you are in pain, come out and voice out. If you don't speak now, you will be silenced. It's okay to share and it's okay to come out from the shell you are in.
Thank you, Abdul. Thank you for that wonderful message. And thank you for your time. And I believe it was a very productive conversation. And I hope to learn more about your mission, learn more about your vision. And hopefully, the next time that we do this podcast, we can perhaps do it in person. Knowing that you are from the West, I'm from the West as well. So we can definitely get that arranged. But all in all, thank you for your time.